Okay, lab 5, B connector. Okay, we're going to perform splices today. Okay, now the connection type for the B connector is a crimp isolation displacement connector. Splice type is an inline or pigtail. Here's an example of an inline splice where one wire comes in and the other one wire comes out. Those two wires are joined together by a connector and they are inline. Or there will be a pigtail type of connectors where two wires just come across like that or come together like that, and then they're going to be connected by some sort of a connector. Now, key word for today is neatness. You can connect anything any way you want, and you can make it work on your kitchen table, but what I'm preparing you for is so you can do this job commercially and get paid for it. And so somebody calls you again for another job. All right, now, the type of connector, it's a crimp connector. Now, they're going to be I'm going to show you different types of connectors, and there are a lot of them out there. Some of them look like this, some of them look like that, and some of them like, okay, you get the idea. Some of them, with some of the connectors, you can just connect two wires together only, and with some of them you can connect multiple wires. All right. Now, the B connectors look like this. Now, these are, okay, we have two types of these type connectors. They are dry connectors, and usually they come in white, or they are jelly-filled connectors, gel-filled or sealant-filled connectors, and this type of connector usually comes in blue. Okay, now this is just for the B type of connector. Now, it looks like they come in packages like this. Here. All right, this is from Norelco, and they just come like this here. Now, usually you can, they're worth about 1 cent each or something like that. Okay, how is it that the insulation displacement connection is done? All right, so I'm going to put one under a microscope here, and let me just cue it up. Now, you can see that there are teeth inside. So here's the metal housing that this connector consists of. And here is there's a plastic cover here. And there's a metal housing inside. That's where the connection is happening. You insert those wires inside that connector, and you squeeze that together. You just crimp it. All right. Just take a set of pliers or a crimping tool, and let me see here. You just crimp that thing just like that using the, well, some of the wire cutters, they would have the crimp jaws. So you just crimp that thing, or you can use a designated crimping tool, which I don't have because I don't know enough of these things here. Now, just as I said, I don't have the blue gel-filled connectors. The purpose of the sealant or the gel inside is to prevent moisture from getting in. So if you're using these connectors in a nice and dry environment inside the building, you can just use these dry connectors. There is no gel in them. But if you're worrying about if there's some moist or damp environment, if you're worrying about the moisture getting into the connection and corroding the wires or whatever is inside, then you might want to use the gel-filled connectors. Okay. So a couple other things here. I'm gonna queue up my thing. Splices. Okay, so IDC, we know what IDC is. It's insulation displacement connector. I got this thing off of the internet. It's from thephoneman.com. So here's the reference. So these are insulation displacement connector. We already have learned about that. Now, when I say keyword for today is neatness, I want to mention something here. Now this picture over here, don't do this at home, kids, or don't do this anywhere. This thing is from Twisted Pair Technologies. Okay, so here's a reference, and it's called Data Disasters for Cat5 and Cat6. I'm going to mention something here. Don't do things like this. Things are not going to work. Your data is not going to work properly. Your data signal is not going to travel properly in these wires. Plus, this is a overall mess. Do not do that. Also, what I'm going to say here is these type of connectors, these splice connectors, B connectors, or overall crimp type of connectors, they are not meant to be used for data, or not meant to be used for Ethernet. You can't you can't splice data wires or Ethernet wires with these crimp connectors and expect that the link is going to keep its desired specifications. What would we use these for? We would use these for splicing signal wires, such as control wires for various devices. How's the printer? Just scare me. I'm here alone. Okay, anyways, scary printers. All right, now also what you would use this for is intercom, or in various sources, you're going to be told that you can use these things for telephone. Now, careful with telephone, because POTS, plain old telephone service, used to be used just for the voice. Okay. Now, there are a lot of other signals transmitted over that line, especially at DSL. And if you lose the twist, or if you have too many splices, and too many splices in the wrong way, yes, it might carry some DSL, which is the digital subscriber line signal, or which is the internet over that. You might lose some bandwidth on that, you might lose some speed on that. So telephone, yes, you can probably use it, but for the most part, today, 2021, I would not use it for even telephone, because you don't know what kind of signal travels through that. Now, if you have a telephone system, which would be a conventional telephone system such as Meridian or Panasonic, that is not VoIP, then you know that from that phone system, from the KSU, key service unit, right to the telephone set, the wire does not need to keep the Cat5e minimum specifications. Then maybe you can use those. But overall, if there's a VoIP, which is the VoIP, voice over IP telephone systems, they utilize Cat5e minimum right now. So also I would not use these. But quite often you're going to be required to do some splices. So here is what we're going to do. I'm going to get a piece of wire. And I'm going to splice it on one, strip it on one end. Let's just get rid of the fluff here. So remember how we do it? Now you can use the strippers, but if you don't have them, if you lose them, learn how to do everything with just those side cutters here, or wire cutters. How do we do that? Nick it, turn it, nick it, break it, nick it, turn it, nick it, break the insulation. Use the ripcord, because at this point here, when you cut it, right here, these wires are going to be damaged. All right, can we see that? Those wires are damaged. There you go. See, they're nicked. So we're not going to use those wires past this point. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use the ripcord and peel the insulation, if I can start that. All right. Okay. So we're going to peel that a little bit. I don't know, 6 inches, 5 inches. And we're always going to cut the fluff. Remember when I'm telling you to cut the fluff? So from previous lessons, you should know that. Ripcord should be cut, the insulation should be cut. Okay? So here is our one side of the wire. Now let's see, we're going to have to do a splice with another wire. So let's pretend that this is one wire and it goes forever that way. Okay. Now we're going to have another wire that goes forever that way. So again, I'm going to nick, turn, nick, break the insulation, use the ripcord, rip it a few inches, and always cut the insulation and the ripcord. We don't want any funny stuff happening here. Neatness, okay, neatness. Key word for today is neatness. Yeah. Now, for the pigtail splice, like these connectors here, sometimes they're called B-cabs, sometimes they're called beans, sometimes they're referred to as beanies. They have all kinds of nicknames. Most of the part they're called B connectors. Right, now I'm just going to cut off this wire here. So yeah, let's pretend these two wires go forever. One goes forever that way, the other one goes forever the other way. Let's make things neat. You don't want to have something that looks like not neat. All right, so we're going to splice that wire. We're going to extend that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring those jacketings together. If you can help it, always try to do that. And then what I'm going to use is a zip tie. And I'm going to bring them together so they don't run away on us. Okay, now this is not this. Oh yes, we're using data wire, but data wire can be used for other things. It doesn't have to be used only for data. Okay, for controls, low voltage control signals, and remember, always cut off trim the zip ties. All right, so now what we have is we have two wires in a pigtail kind of a configuration here. Okay. In order to make things neat, we're going to trim all those wires to equal length. Okay, now all those lengths are equal. We should have a comfortable length for making a proper pigtail out of this. Now, of course, because we are splicing the cable, so basically it's just like extending the cables. Those two cables are going one way or the other. And so we're going to do 1 to 1, just match the colors. Now I'm going to untwist these because you know what, this is not Ethernet cable anymore, so we can untwist them. It doesn't matter. We are not looking for the speed here, we're looking for splicing wires that do not need do not require high speed. Okay, now remember when I showed you those B-caps or beans, they have teeth inside. Right? In order to, where's my scope? Here, you see there are teeth inside. I'm just going to focus on that. When you crush those, when you crush this whole thing, when you crimp it, just basically squeeze that, those teeth are going to come down on those conductors, and they're going to bite into the insulation, and they're going to make a connection with the copper wire that is inside. Okay? There we go. So now, in order to do that, we do not need to strip the wires. We just basically thread them in. Oh, this wire here. I'm riding over that wire. All right, we just put them in here. Where's my, here's my thing, my camera, beautiful camera. All right, so basically what we're going to do is we're just going to insert those wires right inside that connector, just like that. Now we're going to put it all the way in. Now sometimes you're going to see those ends not tapered properly, so those wires are going to come on the other side, but these are done nice and proper. So I'm just going to thread that in, go all the way inside, see? All the way. Yeah. And all we have to do for this one is use our pliers. We're going to use those crimping jaws, and basically we're going to squeeze. Okay. Squeeze with a feel. You don't need to kill that. Okay. So now the connection has been made. All right. Now we're going to repeat that process with the other side of the pair. So this is the blue and this is the white blue. So then I'm going to grab another connector. I'm going to thread that through. Yeah. Put it all the way inside. Oh, see, this one here just went through. Okay. So sometimes what I do, if I'm not in a hurry, I'm just going to take that and just squeeze at the very end, the very tip of that of the B connector, and that's going to prevent the wires from going all the way through. See, they just they stop right there. Okay. And then again, we're just going to grab, see, yeah, put that inside the crimping jaws and squeeze, and the connection is made. Now you can repeat the whole process with all the other pairs. Okay, and now you're going to have nice equal length of a proper pigtail instead of having them different lengths. It's not like it's going to make a big difference electrically, but aesthetically and for the purpose of ease of troubleshooting or installation, so we can make the installation neat. That is the way that we want to these things to be done. All right, now we're just going to do 2 of those. I'm not going to fill up the whole thing, and this is basically what we're going to perform. This is not the only thing that we're going to do during the lab session, because we're going to do 2 labs at once. That's why I just made this lab shorter. You're going to present a pigtail with just 2 B connectors. You can choose which pair you want to extend. And then, of course, as a lab report, remember, we're going to have a first page always is going to be work order, just like in the real world. And then, I keep always getting, and then you're going to take a picture. You are going to take a picture of your work, just like this. Take a picture probably with your name, with a sticker with your name on it, so I know the work is yours. And then that's going to be the only picture that you're going to take. Now let's just, for the sake of argument or just for kicks, let's verify that the connection has been made. So I'm just going to do a quick strip here. And on the other side. Now here's the blue pair. No, I'm not even bothering ripping the cord here now, because this is just just to verify that. And I'm just going to strip these endings here, one and the other. Okay, and I'm just going to verify. So white should come all the way across from one wire to the other, and the white blue and the blue, they should be connected. All right. So I just have an ohm meter here, continuity set, multimeter set to continuity, and we're going to verify that we have the yes, we do have a connection here. So now white blue should connect to white blue. 1, There we go. See? Excuse me. And the blue should connect to the blue. Come on. I'm not pressing hard enough here. Yeah? There you go. All right. So we have continuity. Now, just to make sure that there is no short between white, blue, and blue. No, there isn't any. And there is no, of course, there's not going to be any short on the other side. And cross connect, cross verify also. So it's just the white continues to as white and the blue continues as blue. Okay. So as far as work report, our lab report, here's going to be the first page. Again, 2 pages. Can we see it? There you go. 2 pages. Page 1 is going to be your work report. And notice, fill up the whole page with the work report, with the work order. And then the second page is going to be only 1 table, because we're not going to have any test results. I'm not going to perform any test results on this thing here. You're just going to only have 1 table with the description on it, okay? And that's going to be your wire. 2 wires come together, and there's going to be the other wire pairs, and these 2 pairs are going to be with the, so that's going to be the picture of that. And over here you can just name it B connector. That's how you're going to label that. And that's going to be the lab report for lab 5, B connector. Okay, so now this is shorter. How long did we take to record this? 20 minutes. All right, the first one was hour and 20 minutes, but I was explaining other things to you as we go along. We're going to make the labs shorter, just to keep to the demo. Okay, so that is the lab 5. Now I'm just going to, before I leave, I'm going to show you some suggestions. I found, excuse me, I found this guy here on the web, on YouTube. This guy calls himself Mr. Telephone.co.uk. You might want to watch his presentation on that. It's called Various Jelly Crimp Telephone Wire Connectors 8A, 8B, 8C, 2A, UR2, 11A, and so on. You can, I suggest that you watch that. This is a very, very good presentation on that. He uses all the other different types of connectors. So that's, so again, I'm going to have a better idea. Now I'm showing you this, and I want this thing to be done a certain way so things are nice and neat. Okay, here. So you don't have a mess like, that. You don't want to have a mess like that. Nice and neat, equal lengths. And that's going to be lab 5. Okay, so that's it.